closer. Alrighty, family. Hey, family, this is Steve. This is Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. And the Be More is Real Team Talk Show. And the Be More Real Team Talk Show. And the Be More is Real Team Talk Show. And the Be More is Real Team Talk Show. And the Be More is Real Team Talk Show. With Steve Copeland. With Steve Copeland. What's up, family? What's up, family? What's up, family? I be telling myself I'm gonna write stuff down, right? I do it every time. I say I'm gonna write stuff down because I want to be more organized and more professional. It doesn't work. I see. I just have this thing where it's about being myself. That's why keeping life real. I don't have to be phony and fake with anyone. Not today, not today, not today. That's all I'm saying. Not today. Not today. I don't have to. Love me. Okay, for who I am. Guess what? Men's Mental Health Monday. That's what today is. Men's Mental Health Monday. I'm telling you, look, let me show y'all. Come on, Mr. Copeland. Men's Mental Health Monday. Look, men's self spiritual well-being. Men's self spiritual well-being. And then as long as I'm healthy inside, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, I'm going to be healthy for my family. And that's what matters a lot to me, gentlemen. Keeping myself healthy, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's not to say that I don't have days where I might feel depressed about certain things. But once I recognize what it is, it's like, you gotta go. My stomach was queasing me a little bit, brothers. And I don't want to say nothing too harsh, right? But you know how when you don't feel right inside, you like, well, I hope this ain't happened to somebody. That ain't happened to nobody. This ain't happened to nobody. I'm talking about the loss of life. And I was going through certain things, but I was looking at my son. Gentlemen, And eventually, you know, I'm trying to be cool, trying to act like I'm all right with stuff. I'm feeling a certain way. I'm like, you got to go. I said, I'm going to go take me a walk. You got to go. Shake it off. And eventually he called me. He called me, right? And I was all right with that. Then once he called me, I'm like, well, ain't nobody else called me to say this happened to nobody, this happened to nobody. So it was more like, bring it down, Steve. Bring it down. I'm talking about that little queasiness and what I was feeling inside. Now, I'm going to go back here because I just did 2 little clips that I'm sending over to my stream platform. Keep in mind, family, I'm a recovering addict. 33 and a half years clean. So anytime I'm going through certain things, I do a 10-step inventory on myself, a daily 10-step inventory. That means I have to take a great look at me to make sure everything is okay. Am I acting out on destructive behaviors and all that type of stuff, gentlemen? That's called the self-inventory. Now, I know it's other people, TikTok. I know it's other people that have platforms, right, where they have men talk. But see, my thing is because of what I do, and I'm so used to dealing with people and taking them to deal with those childhood traumas. Men, women, children, taking them in the inside to deal with whatever childhood trauma that's causing the pain and misery in today. So that's the way I work with people, the men mainly. That's the way I work with them. I lived a destructive way of life before. So today I don't live that life. And I know a lot of brothers don't know that you can come up out of that destructive lifestyle and live a real healthy, productive way of life today. Be a prime example for your children when it comes to living a good quality way of life, living by morals, values, and spiritual principles. Spiritually. This is what I said on my other on one of my videos, right? When y'all hear me say I was a no good, rotten son of a sea biscuit, I'm talking about me, gentlemen. I used to say, and I do say it, but on one of the videos, this is what I said. I used to be a no good, rotten son of a bitch. Okay? And if you're a religious person and you can't be honest with yourself, the frick with you. Okay? And that's not being smart, because I know who I serve. I know who I know who I serve. I know who opened up my eyes. You can play with other people like you perfect. That's not how we are. And if I say it, it's still the word of God. It all depends on how I use it. Y'all know I realize that, family. When a person tend to curse and say certain things and they are pastors or preachers and they tend to curse, do y'all realize God is his word? It's the content and the reference that we use it in. I just don't like cursing because it don't feel right from time to time. It don't feel right. So I try to watch it. You get me? Oh, I hope I don't knock nothing out. All right, Sam. All right. Okay. Now, let me do this. Men's mental health wellness. Men's mental health Monday. Even though I'm in recovery, I talk about all 12 steps. I just like to put together at least 5 to give some people some stuff to work with. Gentlemen, your spiritual connection, your spiritual well-being. That's number 1. See, people don't understand that. And I made a statement out my mouth. I don't never want to put another human being before God again. And we will make human beings our gods. I did it. And I had to back up. I'm not just talking just to be talking. I did it. It was my ex-wife. 2, self-discipline. And the reason why I say this, because we act out on our feelings and emotions. But we have to learn to have some self-control over our feelings and emotions. And don't act out in a destructive way. It's okay to recognize them for where they at and what it is. It's okay. But you want to try not to do anything in a destructive way that will cause you to go to prison. Brothers. Family first. I could not, if I didn't get my life in order, I could not be that proper dad for my children. I could not be that proper husband for my wife. Even though the marriages didn't work. I'm the one that screwed up. How many men you know want to talk about themselves like that? I'm the one, gentlemen, that stepped outside my marriage. Jizz. 4, personal growth. What I just say? That's how you begin to grow on a spiritual note. When you can go inside and talk about you. When you can go inside and talk about those demons, those destructive behaviors that you used to practice and act out on, and you're no longer doing them. Personal growth, gentlemen. Number 5. This is the Couch Conversation Show. This is B Moore's Real Team Talk Show. This is my way of giving back. This is number 5. Giving back and leadership. I know who I am inside today, gentlemen. Do not, even though you might see me talking boasters, you might see me standing firm, you might see me being loyal, you might see me being faithful, you might see me being true. I'm talking about to myself. First, I'm not that rotten, no good guy, gentlemen, that I used to be. And if I can turn my life around, gentlemen, I know you can too. See how loud I get? People have a tendency of getting mad because I'm loud. I say that's passion. They get it mixed up. My mouth, gentlemen, is my biggest weapon for the body of Christ. My mouth. When it comes to helping and encouraging and empowering the people. What I started realizing, family, my life is no different. And you know I believe in the Bible. But I'm reading other people's stories. That's why when we study and we read it, it's called his story. It doesn't click with a lot of us. So as a result, gentlemen, and I got to go here. I was doing my Ancestry.com, right? On the Copelands. My mother's mother, last name is Williams. So I did a little bit on that as well. But it didn't hit me till later. We came from Barbara Jean, the mother, brothers. Her father, Charles White Copeland. That's our last name. But that didn't really mean that was her father. But she came from a mother. So I started realizing, be honest with y'all, we are Williams. That's mama's name, last name. Mama's mama. We are actually Williams. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe, brothers. So anyway, let me go there with that, because I was doing the Copeland things, I was doing the Williams, and I'm going back to 1600. And watch what I say. Watch what I say. If a man don't know where he came from, he won't know where he's going. If a man do not know where he come from, he don't know where he's going. He don't know where to go. So now, mind you, I'm going back. I get to the 1600s, checking out the Copelands. And all of a sudden, God got me straight to Jeremiah. Now I'm doing my daggone history search, right? God guided me straight to Jeremiah. First chapter, verse 4. When God came to Jeremiah in a dream. Now I'm going to show y'all how Bible come to life. The same way God told Jeremiah. And I might mix the words up a little bit, but you'll understand what I'm saying. 1, I knew you before the foundation of this world. Steve Copeland. This is what God told me. I knew you before the foundation of this world, Steve Copeland. I put everything in you that I called you to go back out and do. It's Monday. I'm trying to look at the time. It's Monday. I can't even see the time up there. Right? He knew. 6:22, Monday, August the 10th, 6:22. I was going to be on my live, sharing my story. This is not something I planned. But in the process of me saying this, brother, I'm trying to see who I am. Once God showed me, the same way he said it to Jeremiah, it was like he said it to me. I knew you, Steve Copeland, before I put you in your mother's womb. I knew you, Steve Copeland, before I put your mother and father together. Come on. Come on. Now, you see, I mentioned Jeremiah, but I'm telling you, he was talking to Steve. And gentlemen, check this out. Once I read that right there, I stopped. Trying to see what part of Africa I came from, what tribe, all of that. I stopped. Because once he said that, I knew you before the foundation of this world. What it did to me, it showed me, brothers, that at some point in time, I was in the presence of the Spirit. That's my stuff. If you don't believe it, you ain't got to believe it. You ain't got to. I'm talking about what he did with me. What's up, Maxwell? I'm talking about what he did with me. I'm talking about a person who was lost, living a lifestyle of obsessive and compulsive behaviors. Started smoking 11. Started drinking. It wasn't coffee then, but this is coffee here. Thunderbird, 13. Gentlemen, I'm sharing it with you so you can be honest about yourself. 14 years old. The rich man high. That's what they called the cocoa leaf back then. I don't know what they call it now. 15 years old. I remember asking my cousin, I said, can you pew this for TikTok's sake? Right? Can you shoot this? She said, yeah. From the age of 15 to 30 years old, I was caught up. Now, I was responsible. I was productive. I called myself a functioning addict. And they used to say in the meetings, there's no such thing as a functioning addict. But let me tell you something. The way my life was going, brothers, and I know a lot of y'all can relate, it started spiraling out of control, where it was getting to the point, brothers, either I was going to take somebody down and spend the rest of my pretty self over the prison, or somebody was going to take me down. Man, I ain't trying to be smart. I don't know how y'all brothers can do it. The freak I look like wanting to be in behind bars with another bunch of men. And now it done got to the point they wearing their pants halfway down. So I don't know if they saying you're welcome. But I remember when my brother was telling me about the people with the pants halfway down. It wasn't good. It wasn't good, bro. So y'all think that's slick? That ain't slick. I make sure my pants stay right here with my neighbor at. I ain't ready to pull them up here yet. Even though I'm 64, they're gonna stay down there. Right there, with the waistline there. Okay, gentlemen. Now, what in the freak do I look like wanting to be in prison with just men, no women? Sooner or later, I'm going to want something. So y'all know what's happening. Don't even play the game. Okay? And then you come home and you straighten up. Well, I heard those stories too. I was over there for 11 months, 61 years old. I used to do a prison commitment in the 90s. I did a H&I commitment over the prison for 10 years. I used to come in every Friday night at 7 o'clock, brothers, at the Wyatt building, encouraging and motivating the men that when they come home, the right things to do, like getting their lives in order. The 11 months that I was over the prison because of these fake charges and all this stuff, brothers, I had a chance to talk with the warden. And I told the warden, I said, look, once I get this stuff cleared up for what happened to me, I said, I have no problem coming back, bringing in programs. Who can better help another person that was living a destructive way of life? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I had to change my old ways of thinking. It took a while, bro, family. I had to change my old ways of thinking. I had to change people, places, and things because I got high, brothers, and well, my family, we hustled. I had to get away from my family. I had to change people, places, and things. That was a life-changing experience for me. Right now, my cousin that hit me, she's still, living. 70-something years old. She used to babysit me from a child on up. They was doing it. I thought it was okay to do it, brothers. And I know a lot of y'all can relate. I ain't going to be around nobody. Let me share this. If you can't be honest about yourself, you can't be honest about your life, even though we know you don't live it no more, but you can't be honest to help another person, stay away from me. Stay away from me. Because you will make a person like me feel real uncomfortable. Talking about the life that I used to live and how God brought me up out of it. Now check this one out. I'm talking about most of my religious brothers and sisters. Stay the freak away from me if you act like you arrived. Because from what I understand, being a follower and being a lover of Jesus Christ, the sins that I committed before I came to him, he said, Steve Copeland, they are thrown into the sea of forgiveness. I will never use them against you again. Thank you, Lord. That's the old side. That's the old side. But yet, you are still a sinner. But this time, I'm going to say if and when you fall short, it is justified by my death. That's his grace. If you're going to preach to somebody, you're going to talk to somebody, help them better understand. He knew no matter what, as long as I'm in this body, I will never be without falling short. Thank you, Pastor Wainwright, Simon Wainwright. He said this to me one day, brothers. This my sponsor. He said, Steve, what is sin? Now, mind y'all, I'm ready to quote the 10 Commandments. He said, Steve, what is sin? I'm ready to quote the 10 Commandments because I'm this real religious. I don't speak in tongues now. Don't that gift I don't have. But I have the gift of human insight. I already know that. Spot you in a minute. It's just I have a tendency of giving you a chance after chance, right? Which I have to get better with not doing that. I was starting to read the 10 Commandments. He said, that's true. But he said, Steve, Simon Wainwright, he says, sin is just disobedient to God. Blew me away. You know why? The 5 books of Moses. We got the 10 Commandments, right? The 5 books of Moses is the broken down instructions on how he wants us to live our life. Either you're going to do right or you're going to do wrong. Make that choice. If you choose not to live accordingly, he still loves you anyway. He just don't like the sin. He just don't like you being disobedient. So if you're going to preach and you're going to minister to somebody, you do it right. Do it right. Because you don't want to run nobody away. You don't want to run them away. but he's talking about you. Now, if I pull this out to read, and I gotta watch it for TikTok because last time I had it up. If I pull this out to read, this is between me and God. When I'm reading this book, this is me and God. This is not my church members. This is not the people on the corner. This is me and God. This is the way God is talking to me, telling me how to live a more productive way of life, gentlemen. Me. I can only share back with you how God worked with me. I had to learn to stop doing it to people. Here it is. I might say something about a person's lifestyle, right? You practicing certain behaviors, but here I am, the pastor or the bishop of the church, but I'm sleeping around with the women. What's any different? Sin is a sin is a sin. What's any different? And when a person is ready, and this is what I realized, you can pray to God all you want. Lord, take this from me, take that from me. And guess what? He will. But guess who will turn around and pick it back up? You. Oh, y'all ain't gonna like that. Y'all is not gonna like that. When I asked God, when I yelled out 33 and a half years ago, God, please help me, I have not picked up since then. And I want to say this. It's the desire. It's the desire. He removed the desire. Brothers, I still think from time to time about using or, a little drink here and there, but I'm like, oh, no. My liver, I ain't trying to speed it up. I done had operations on my feet, brothers. Well, I got 7 toes now, 7.5 toes. This last time they operated on me, I didn't take no pain pills. Thank you, God. And be honest, I was waiting for the pain. Because I was going to be like, give me one. Give me one. I was waiting for the pain. But guess what? When I put it in me, and I'm nice now, all of a sudden something hit me and said, boy, some cocoa will go good with this. I'm like, huh? What? So I understand why some people, when they on meds, doctor prescribed, once the prescription run out, don't get it refilled. Steve Copeland. We got a pamphlet called In Times of Illness. If I'm hurting to the point where I can't stand it, yes, I'm going to take something to ease that pain. But if it's to the point I can take it, and it was times when before I had this operation, they begged me to take the pain pills to ease the pain. Mr. Copeland, we know you heard me. Brothers, listen to what I'm saying, please. I just didn't want to go back to using. I just didn't want that urge or desire, the strong desire for the drugs to kick back up. I didn't want it, family. That's the only reason why I didn't use. And not only that, it's nothing like looking at your children knowing how destructive and horrible you have made your own life, gentlemen. And then when you look at your own children and you know y'all help provide better, when I say y'all, me and the mothers. So for a lot of y'all that want to say women this and women that and men this and men that, stop the bull crap. You the one slept with the person. You the one allowed the person in your life. You need to look at you. When you talk like that, look at yourself. Man this, man that. And the first thing when I hear this, family, and I can be totally wrong, but 98% I'm not. Anytime I hear woman, and I said this the other day, bashing a man horribly. It can go both ways now. The women doing it to the man doing it to the woman. 9 times out of 10, she didn't have a healthy relationship with her father. Pain. When you're going through a lot of pain, chaos, and confusion, you only gonna give it back. I know that. I work with a lot of people that deals with stuff like that. So when I hear y'all say that, 9 times out of 10, you did not have a healthy relationship with your father. 9 times out of 10, you probably was in an abusive, on both sides now, and it could be men and women, don't get it wrong, relationship. That's why you full of hate. But then you call it love. You're full of hate. Now let me say this. If I sit up here and badmouth my ex-wife, any one of them, my children are grown. Now, when they was younger coming up, I still couldn't say nothing bad to them about their mother. Now, how she carried it on that end with me, I don't know. But I just know I own up to my stuff, brothers. I take responsibilities for Steve Copeland, brothers. I don't get around other perpetrating dudes. I don't do it, bro. I need real people in my life. And if that's where you stuck at, where you want to hang out with a bunch of phony fake dudes, right? On these platforms. And don't be honest with yourself. You ain't got to go as deep as I might do sometimes. You ain't got to go that deep. But it's about being real with yourself. Because it's stuff that was done that we can't change. We can't fix it. We just don't keep practicing those behaviors. You get it? That's all. If I want to be a rotten, no good, almost cursed on that one, egg, mother, blinky, blocky, blokey, I can. Because it's there. That's part of my character. That's part of my personality as a human being. I'm a loving, caring, kind, considerate person. But I can be a rotten, no good son of a boo-boo. And guess what? Look. I fold them down, right? It's me. Sometimes I got to tell this, no. Well, I want to go do what I want to do. No, you cannot. Why I can't go do what I want? Oh, she look good over there. Why I can't go do what I no. Steve, no. I had to learn to practice some discipline and self-control over my flesh. Because my flesh wanted to do what it wanted to do. I had 4 earrings over here. You could not tell me I wasn't a handsome, goddamn, good-looking, gorgeous, sexy man. You could not. I would be in my car. 4 earrings here, woman right there. I'm like, something hit me one day and said, you know, that's some blooky stuff, right? I got 4 earrings here and 2 over here. You could not tell me I wasn't a bad looking man. Couldn't tell me nothing. Look at this face. You couldn't tell me nothing. Little by little, I had to let him go. Little by little. The more I began to grow spiritually, I had to let him go. Sometimes, when I was about 11, I think, about 10 or 11, I got this ear pierced. So I got another hole here. I think it was this side, right? Because basically I ended up doing like one, and then it's 3 over here. It's 4 over here all together. And I'm going to tell y'all, you could not tell me I wasn't a slick dude. I was bigger, but you could not tell me I wasn't a man. You could not tell me I wasn't. I was running through Park Heights like crazy. You could not tell me. 19 years old, Ford Thunderbird. First car. You could not tell me I wasn't a man. Player. At 19. Right? Y'all know that just popped in my head. I was the player. I can talk about me, bro. And I'm going to tell y'all, I'm no different than y'all. And anytime you stay away from a dude like Mike that can be honest and raw, because you're scared. Already know it, bros. Already know it. That's why we tend to go in areas, right? I'm talking about platforms, where a lot of the people that's talking is full of crap. It's full of crap. And I understand, because that's where your spirit is at. Full of crap, chaos and confusion. So that's what you're going to gravitate to. Rather than you saying, wow, this brother over here, you know, he's a minister for Christ. He in the community. He back in the community where he destroyed at one point. He back there helping to build up. He ain't just talking. Strengthen the community. The LaTanya D. Copeland House of Hope. A new Be More city. Rebuilding our communities. These are all visions that God laid here. Oh, he talked too much. Yes, he do. And my thing is, if you get mad because I run off in my mouth, get mad at God. Don't get mad at me. Sit there and tell y'all, I was called to the ministry. I was avoiding that calling for the longest time, brothers. And I shared that with my sponsor. I said, I knew when I was younger, I had a calling on my life. And I finally became obedient to the calling and became a deacon. I don't need you to tell me, well, you shouldn't have said that. You don't do that. And I'm only saying it like that, brothers, because you don't allow nobody else to tell you certain things. You got to see it for yourself. You can tell me I'm wrong about this, I'm wrong about that. You can tell me. But if I don't see it, I ain't going to believe you. It's just you talking down to me. You trying to belittle me. But I got to see it for myself. That's why you share. If you share your story in reference to where somebody might be stuck at, you sharing your story in reference to where a person might be stuck, you sharing their story. And if they don't get it right then and there, they'll get it later because it'll come back like, oh, I remember when Mr. Steve was saying this. I remember when Mr. Steve said that. Oh, I can relate to this and I can relate to that. And this is what I need to do. I need to let it go because I need to understand. Guess what? If I don't pick it up, see my Diet Pepsi? If I don't pick it up, it can't get in me. Let me show y'all this. If I don't pick it up, look at this. Look at this. If I don't pick it up, I ain't going to be able to eat it. So after I finish this live, I'm going to pick it up because I had to hurry up here and start my live. Keeping it real. Don't hate me. Because I can come on here and I can keep it real and I can laugh. I be telling people on TikTok, right? Sometimes when I go on certain platforms and I might make jokes, I don't mean no harm. And God, please forgive me. A lot of y'all are some miserable people. I almost curse again. I be like, stop taking everything so personal. And then I'm on platforms and you will not come up here with that. Arguing back and forth with each other. You will not do that over here. You are welcome to come and talk and get stuff out. You need to vent. You're welcome. But if you're going to come over here and say like you're dealing with something in life right now and you just want to get it out, that's fine. And if you want to take suggestions, well, I try not to give you suggestions. If I have experience what you're going through, I'm going to share with you what I was able to do to come up out of that situation just for the day. To let you know you're not by yourself. And these are the things that you can do to help turn that around. Mostly, I'm going here with you. Anybody that comes in my life, my journey is spiritual with you to help you find that peace back in here. Number one, it starts with communication. Whatever you're going through, you got to open up your mouth and begin to talk about it. You got to be honest with yourself. You heard that part I said with yourself. Be honest with you first. Sometimes you take the risk and say, well, I'm going to share this. I'm going to say that. You being honest with yourself. You running the risk because people will cut you down. That's not what Steve Copeland is about. So it starts with the communication again. And then it's the truth that you share out your mouth. It's the faith now. Because you believe in that this person can understand where you're coming from. But it's in here, whether they believe you or not. You know you're sharing your truth and about your faith. And it's trust. Those three spiritual principles. Honesty, truth, open-minded, faith, the willingness to trust, and a higher power other than yourself. Because you feel it inside. You feel it inside. Let me share this. I don't have to go to a therapist for nothing. I'm a recovering addict. I do the work on myself. They study. They understand the chemical imbalancement within the brain. We understand the chemical imbalancement within the brain, too. It's to help balance you out spiritually. That's not how they're going to do you. Some of them will diagnose you. And it all depends on where you at, what's going on with you. And if they feel like you have psychological issues, yes, we're going to introduce you to the psychiatrist, medical doctor. I don't do this a lot straight out because my journey is spiritual. I'm evaluating you. My goal is to connect with your spirit. Because sometimes the way God deals with us, it will make you think you're losing your mind. Once I tune into you and I realize you have a certain gift, I'm going to share that with you. Because sometimes we can go and tell people what's going on with us, and yes, they need to be on meds. You might not need to be on meds. So for you therapists, and you psychiatrists, you hypnosis people, all of that, that's my goal as a recovering addict, is to get to the deeper root of what's going on and to help them balance it out spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. That's what Sponsors does. And then we do help them changing the quality of their lives, turning it around. That's why when people come into my program, I tell them, give me 3 to 6 months. They told us to do a 90-90. That's 3 months, right? I tell them, give me 3 to 6 months. Because I know you're not going to change overnight. So the same process I had to work through. As a religious man, Browns Memorial for 5 years, right? As a religious man, I understand that part. As a spiritual man, because it started out religiously, and then I began to grow spiritually. That's when God introduced me to who he became in the flesh. Everybody might not see that. And if you don't see it, don't compare yourself to me. Because I thank God, brothers, sisters, that he showed me that. Everybody don't see that. And then when after Christ was crucified, he already said, I'm going to leave one behind that will comfort you, that will strengthen you, that will empower you. So I'm telling y'all the transformation that God showed me, the Father or the Creator. It's only one God. You see my hand? One. The Creator. It was words that came out of that spirit that hovered through the universe. God is his word. How they started writing the word. This Holy Spirit empowered them like it's doing me to open up my mouth to talk about certain things. They wrote about it. I'm talking about it. How the Spirit empowered me to talk about the good side, to talk about the bad side. Come on, Candy.
I'm here.
I know you've been gone for a while.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to be able to go live and to be able to talk around him. So it's kind of like, I got to do it when I'm home. So, but no, I felt really, really good today. I actually started seeing a therapist again.
Good.
I needed something. I need somebody to talk to outside of my family. Because there's a lot going on in my family right now.
It's not the family, Candy. I'm more concerned about you personally, right? And my biggest thing is I don't want you to get lost in another human being. I did that, Candy. I did that. And when I start stuttering, family, that's because I try to watch my mouth. But I realized this. I didn't see it at the time, but I made her my God. It was like everything about her. If she didn't want this done, she didn't want my look. It got to the point my nieces stopped coming to the house. My sister stopped coming to the house because anybody that showed me any time, I'm talking about woman-wise, any type of attention, she ain't like you. And that's my wife. So I had to be on my wife's side till I realized I was all by myself. I wasn't cooking Thanksgiving dinners no more. I wasn't having cookouts no more and all of that. people stopped coming to the house because I was trying to make sure me and her was okay, but she was making sure people was in the situations was out of my life, and I was all by myself. I was all by myself. And when you just said what you did, I couldn't get on here because he was right there, blah, blah, blah. You doing stuff to inconvenience your life to satisfy him.
Well, it's not because he was right there. It's because when I stay over there, the room that I stay in, I have to keep the door open. So it's kind of hard to, because the reason why I can't close it is because they have a cat and it comes in and out. So that's the reason why I can't close it. So, but no, I mean, like I was saying, I mean, I was talking today to my therapist about him with the whole gaming thing, and he asked me, he's like, does he pay attention to you when he's gaming, when you're over there? I said, to be quite honest with you, he says that he can hear me, but when I'm sitting there, he's more focused on watching his computer than looking at me.
Yep.
And he said to me, he's like, the next time you go over there, you need to put your foot down. You need to say, you need to spend time with me instead of looking at that computer. Because coming from somebody who's a professional and says about addiction, especially a gaming addiction, it's right there. It's in black and white. It's not invisible that he has an addiction.
He can game, but one thing he need to realize, when you take the time out to come and visit him, that's your personal time. Exactly. So he have to, if he don't get on it for no more than an hour, because he need to balance it out. Little Steve is a gamer. Little Steve plays soccer. Little Steve does a lot of other stuff. But when me and Little Steve talk, if I call Little Steve and he's on his game, I normally say, man, you know, I love you, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk a little bit and I'll let him go. Because I know that's his time. That's his time. But now, I know he's always doing stuff with his mothers, his sisters, with all of that. You got to have a balance. This man is too old for that. He's not balancing things out. And I'm going to tell you, for me, be honest with you, not me.
36 years old. And can't give up a little bit of time. You know, it's like, I have to do something. I have to put my foot down.
You can put your foot down all you want, but is he going to change? And then guess what?
Yep.
On top of that, sometimes you just have to respect the fact of where he's at and stay in your lane and leave him in his. Because that's what you got to do. I mean, come on.
I mean, everybody has boundaries. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you got to watch who you're going to step on somebody's boundaries. And then it's like, if you step on it, then they get an attitude.
Right. And see, one thing I know about you, because we've been knowing each other for quite a while now, I know you have a beautiful heart. I know you have a beautiful spirit. I already know that. Already know. And be honest, I think you deserve better. I do. But now, that's that daddy mode in me. You already know that. That's daddy. You deserve better. But look, I try to respect, mainly when me and you was talking one time, right? And you like, what? How you put it? It was more like, you dealing with such and such and such. You already know what's going on, but you willing to deal with it. I'm like, okay. Because, I mean, if you do the work, that's fine. And that's why I had to respect that, because you willing to work it out.
Pretty much. That's just like when I was talking to the therapist, especially, we brought up Tom, and he was saying, you know, he was asking me about him and stuff, and I said, "Can you really can't compare apples to oranges?"
You bet. Look, since you mentioned that, stop putting stuff up of Tom. Because every time you do it, you know, hurt my feelings. I'll be watching, I'm like, oh, Lord, come on, Candy. And it takes me back to everything we used to do. Every time you do it, it takes me back. Because I know you miss him. I know you hurt, baby. I know it. And it's like, I be watching you post little pictures. I'm like, I know where your heart is at. Your heart's still there. But that takes time too. Yeah, come on. Yeah.
You know, and a lot of, like I said, you know, with the therapist talking to me about, you know, just little things about him. I didn't cry, I didn't get upset or anything. It's just, you know, it's little things that he asked, you know,